Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I have an interview with a subscriber who I absolutely enjoy having conversations with. And he's had a terrifying run with the Dogmen, or as he likes to call them, the Walking Wolves. Before we get into an interview with Luke, couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons. Narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help. And you know what? It matters. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? So yesterday I was recording and I got a text that just simply said, "Hey." And I know who it was right away without looking at the name. It was Luke. And I hadn't spoken to Luke for, gosh, a couple months now. And as you guys know, Luke had not been working and had decided to pursue a field in the Department of Natural Resources or Parks and Recreation, DNR, and of the great state of Maryland. So Luke and I had a long talk and we recorded it. Not all of it, but a portion of it. And it's got some pretty interesting stuff, if I do say so myself. So I hope you enjoy the interview with Luke and myself. All right, everybody. Tonight I have a special guest, a guest that everyone loves and everyone really likes to hear from periodically when he comes on. Luke, how are you, my friend?
I'm pretty good. Hello, how's everybody doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We've been talking for a little bit about everything. I love talking with you, man. Me and you can talk for hours just about everything and anything. um,
Yeah, pretty much.
so you're starting work soon, and I don't know. I haven't heard what you got to say because I like it to be surprised. So I'm gonna kick the floor over to you, and you can share with us what you've got going on.
No problem. Thanks, Jeff. Hello, everybody. It's me, Luke, from former Taylor, Mississippi. I'm up in Maryland now, so I enjoyed the move. Nothing too crazy happened now, so I'm on. I just came back from vacation. I went to Virginia Beach. I stayed at Airbnb. I did a whole bunch of different things. Took my kids fishing. Went to the aquarium, and then on the last day, I went to First Landing State Park to go for a little hike, just to enjoy nature and stuff like that. So it was me, the kids, the wife, the dog. So we was pretty much having a good time. But as I was there, I didn't have nothing crazy happen to me though, but I did have the feeling that I was being watched or stalked or however you want to say it.
Okay.
So I was pretty much vigilant as we was going through. My wife and kids didn't notice anything, but due to the fact that I had like quite some severe experiences with these walking wolves, I know when certain things wasn't right. So as we're making our way to the end of the trail, I see a couple like running, like terrified, and they was like, "Just run, just run." So I'm not going to run because I don't want to panic my kids and stuff like that. So as they was going, I was like, you know what? Let's just turn around. So we started walking back out. It was about at least about 15, maybe 15, 20 minute walk. So we finally got back to the car. We see the couple like just loading up, getting ready to go. So I asked them what happened. So it was about maybe 300 yards ahead of us. So they started hearing noise. This was a couple probably late 20s, early 30s. They was hiking. So they started hearing certain things like brush moving around them. And this was around what time? Maybe around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was fairly daylight out. The sun was out. It was beaming. It wasn't dark or anything like that. So as they was hearing noises, they heard something like took approach to them, and they happened to look in the brush and saw like a wolf head. But the thing about the wolf head they saw, it was like level to them, and they was on a slight hill, and whatever they saw was on a decline about maybe 2 feet. So whatever was looking at them smiled at them, and then that's when he took off and then ran into us. So that was one of the first encounters that I heard about. So we left for the day. We didn't go back. So I had ended up having to go to the gas station and get gas, and because you got to pump your own gas out there. So, but I was talking to my wife, and I was telling her like what the couple had said, and one of the other guys at the other pump heard me talking about the state park that we was at, and he was like he had a strange encounter too. He's like it's probably the scariest thing he ever saw. He was camping out there a couple years ago. He said he never went back. It was him and his wife, and it was just getting dark. They was in their tent, so they was hearing a whole bunch of things like walking around at night. So he thought it was just like one of the local wildlife and things. So he thought about trying to scare it off, making noise and things. So he had bear mace and stuff like that. So he said he carried that with him. As they were sleeping, something had walked up to their tent and pressed his face against the tent. So he woke up and he could see the silhouette, and he knew that it wasn't a regular animal. So it seems like the animal walks away. So he slowly unzipped his he slowly unzips the tent, and he slowly like peeks out, and then like literally a few feet away was a creature just staring at him right in the face. Mm. He smiled at him. He jumped back. He grabbed his bear mace, and then he went back to spray, and this thing took off. So he didn't sleep at all that night. So as soon as daylight broke, he woke his wife up, and they got out there, and she could see that he was scared. And he ended up telling her once they got out of there, and they never been back. So it's not that long of a story, but that's pretty much what I heard from my trip. I didn't see anything though, but I had a feeling that I was probably being watched.
Yeah.
But I did end up having a good time there, with the exception of what I heard and what I saw. But at the end of the day, you just gotta try to be safe,
Yeah, yeah. That's insane that, you're on vacation, you're not thinking about these things, and you're at a gas station and you hear, a story, and then this thing, it's like almost like you cannot get away from them. It's almost like your family's cursed. I hate saying it, but it's truly like that, you know. Right.
And see, I don't think it's really from being cursed, but I think once you experience these creatures, it's like a sixth sense.
Yeah.
Once you get introduced to something, you just know. Like it's not everybody's gonna experience the same thing until they have a run in with these creatures, which I hope they never do, and then you actually acquire sixth sense. It's almost something primitive that humans forgot. Like all animals can sense danger. We can sense danger to a certain extent, but when we actually have the fear of actual danger, like somebody could point a barrel of a gun in your face, you're scared. But the amount of fear doesn't measure up to you standing face to face with one of these walking wolves. It brings a primal fear within you that knows that this is like absolute terror. So when that happens, that kicks in a primitive instinct from like something that we was born with, but was long forgotten and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what I think of that.
Yeah, I agree with, like, I know that you try to listen to all the uploads, but when I was talking about that book, the Them and Us, about the Neanderthal, and they were part of the book was discussing humans and why we are afraid of the dark. You know, well, it stems from our ancient ancestors not having, a house, living in caves, relying on a fire and not knowing what is outside of that firelight, when apex predators were completely different than what we have now, when dire wolves were roaming the
Yeah, I
land,
agree.
saber-toothed tigers.
But if you think before that, before Neanderthals or pre-humans was able to make fire, I think that was actually a gift and a curse, because majority of animals are born with night vision, even humans.
Yeah.
Because if you ever realize, if you stare in the dark long enough, your eyes start to adjust to the dark. Now, if you magnify that by, like, let's just say 30%, with back in the time where before you had fire or flashlight, you had pre-humans walking around. They had to be able to walk at night and do what they needed to do, so their eyes had to adjust. But due to the fact that we came with technology and all this other stuff, our bodies have no longer have needs to keep the nocturnal vision that we were created with. So,
Yeah, I agree.
because a lot of things like, so I see it as that as well, because we weren't always like this, but
No.
technology just made us
Soft.
not, yes, it made us soft. So I love technology. Don't get me wrong. Well, now I'm gonna trade it for nothing, but
right, yeah,
I'm just calling it what it is.
yeah. We had a couple pretty interesting conversations. Um, One, we were talking about missing people, and we were talking about crawlers. I was filling you in on the upload about the Virginia thing. Obviously, you were just coming from Virginia, and I asked you if you had gotten hit by the storm, and luckily you missed it. But we were talking about crawlers and disappearances and things like that. Some strange deaths, and you had mentioned Baltimore, big city, and there's a lot of disappearances there. A lot of them are drug and gang related, but some are not related to gangs or drugs. And what's your thought on what's your thought on these crawlers? What do you think about what's going on with these things as of late? It seems like there's been kind of an uptick in discussion and sightings, CTV or CCTV sightings and stuff like that. What's your thought on that, Luke?
Um, I pretty much think these things are like cave dwellers. They only come out at night, and I think most of the areas that they're in, they require food because I believe they're carnivorous, and a lot of the foods haven't been prevalent, like theirs and whatever else they like to eat. So pretty much you have people that are hiking and things like that. And I was telling you this because I've seen this. I was, like I said, I was just on that hike at First Landing State Park, and I saw these couples with earbuds in their hair, not a care in the world. So that makes you more susceptible to getting attacked, not even by a predator, by another human, by anything. So I'm thinking that a lot of these predators are smart and they're ambush predators. So if your attention is in your phone, you're bobbing your head to music, it's easy for something to snatch you up. Especially these things are 3 to 4 times stronger than a regular human being. That's what I believe. So it won't take that much for them to overpower you and drag you off into the woods. You got to think about it. These things hunt on a nightly basis, so they have to perfect their craft. So like, and a lot of these like Baltimore, a lot of these Baltimore's not far from the park, and a lot of these incidents happen around the park where they go missing, maybe a few miles from the park, because you have the light forested area before you get into deforested area, which don't really look like much. So anything could be waiting there. As long as it's about 3 to 5 feet high, it can hide in there. Evening time, you can walk by with a friend, grab you. Don't know nonetheless. So that's pretty much what I think about that. I just think that their food around them is getting scarce, so they're venturing out a lot further than their territory.
Yeah.
Because Maryland has a lot of cave systems as well.
Yeah, it's and you are starting back to work in a couple weeks or next week, excuse me. Um, are you're
Yeah.
going to be jockeying the desk for a couple weeks, or are you going out? How's that going to work out for you?
Now, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be on the desk for about a month, and then after that, then I'm gonna be reintroduced into the field.
Okay,
So
all right. Because
by that time, I'm going my pretty much what my job's gonna be entitled is just taking reports and data and looking into certain cases and providing information to certain kind of people, which I can't say. So, but that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for the first month, and then I'm going to get reintroduced back to probably a new area, but within the same district. So,
right now, I just recently had a kid that came on, not kid, guy, um, that had a Goatman experience. You had one in Maryland, and I then started to look. I looked at some comments, and a few people had mentioned, "Hey, I had this. I had a Goatman experience in the '70s," and so I started looking into the history of Maryland with the Goatman, and there's some interesting. I'm not gonna say. I guess not creepy pasta, urban legend. And as you know, Texas has like the Goatman Bridge, which is another urban legend. But like you and I were talking earlier, Hollywood is making movies based on fact, calling it fiction. Um, I think that Maryland seems to have a lot of Goatman experiences out there. Are you? Do you have any fear of going back out into the woods? Um,
I would lie to you to say about that I don't.
right. because I know that Goatman
I
one.
do.
I know the Goatman one had. I know it had an effect on you more so than a lot of your other experiences.
I agree because you can't really accept these walking wolves. I can't say that I accept them, but it's another word for accepting them. And you just know that it's a possibility that you can run into one of these things. For the most part, you don't know how all of them act though, but you have a better chance of interacting with one of these walking wolves and making it out alive. Because most times, the only time one of these things like really messes with you, if their young is around, they're hungry, you're in their territory, or they just sometimes just are in a bad mood. For the most part, there's plenty of times when I shouldn't even be here talking at all. Like I thought it was gonna be my last days, but it happened. It let me go. Like the last encounter that I had when my dad got attacked, it scared me half to death. I'm freaking going off, thinking that I'm gonna do something to these creatures, not knowing that I was playing right into their hands. They set a trap for me. They lured me to where they wanted to lure me, and they ganged up on me. And then as I closed my eyes, I looked, and one of them, they cleared a path to bring the young one, and I put two and two together. And then when I spoke to my dad, after he got out the hospital, I found out what happened, and it all made sense. And if they wanted to kill me, they would have killed me right then and there, and there would be nothing I could do about it. No amount of firepower would have got me out of there alive. So dealing with what I saw when I got sent to my new location, it was you see werewolf movies, but to see something that you really can't put a name to, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrifying. And this thing, it was all aggression. Like Bigfoot, these dogman creatures, for the most part, they'll bluff charge you. They'll get you running till you get out their area, and they turn around. This thing wasn't stopping. If I didn't get back to my ATV, I would have made it out there alive. Because even when I got on my ATV, it was still giving chase. And the way that it ran was weird. It was weird. It was running like it was about to fall over, but it's not. It ran like it was about to fall over, but wasn't, and it was drunk at the same time. If you could picture all that together, that's the way it was running.
Right.
And then with those, so yeah. Oh man.
Well, I know the
Whew.
funny thing, is when you and I were talking, we were talking about the whole Hollywood thing, and the facts are in the fiction.
Yeah.
And I had said
Yeah.
you had mentioned the
So
underworld, and I had said, you know, what I encountered didn't look like the underworld, didn't look like this. And then there was a new Marvel movie, Phantom Moon, or some kind of Ghost Moon or something like that, and it had a dog man or a werewolf in it, and it did not resemble the underworld dog man, but it resembled what I saw, and it freaked me out. Like when you would see Underworld, and you'd be like, "Wow, how did they get that perfectly?" And when we were talking about just moments ago, your feelings on these crawler things, carnivorous, underground. We had mentioned Chud. I mean, that movie
yeah,
from the 80s terrified me.
describes it to the T.
Right.
And describes
Perfectly.
it to the T.
And it's there's a couple of really good Bigfoot movies out there that um, really hit it on the head with what those creatures, Bigfoot, really looks like. And you
Yeah.
are, I'm not going to say expert, but you had years where you had a Bigfoot as a friend. And if anyone would know what one of these things looks like and the habits of them would be you. And it's just strange how, and I think it's a soft disclosure. And, with your new job, this and that, I don't know if you're going to hear anything like that, but, God, I'd love to have your job. Just I can just imagine the things that you're gonna hear. But then again, I wouldn't want to have your job because then
You gotta
you
think about it. If
can't
I
speak
hear it,
on it. Yeah,
sometimes I gotta investigate it.
yeah, you're not gonna be able
And
to.
what if I'm in an area where it's something, just say they saw one of these walking wolves and it's one of these pissed off walking wolves. I go to the area and this thing is already pissed off and I'm just dealing with it. Yeah. I think I'll be going home. Like, now, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's.
But,
I mean, it's gonna be difficult, but at least.
but I did. But sorry, go ahead.
No, at least you'll have. You're gonna have a job that you love. It's gonna be a job that you've really wanted. One that
Yeah,
you've.
I do. Cause
Yeah. So I'm hoping
yeah,
everything works out the
I
best.
just because I hear so many stories with these walking wolves, these Bigfoots, these crawlers, these goatmans, and the kind of the thing that these people go through, having to deal with that, and then they have to talk about it to somebody who doesn't believe them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you try to give your if you in with dealing with law enforcement and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why. So like I did put a special request out for like paranormal or weird stuff that interests me. That I like to go out there. So because I want to help these people. Like, let them know that they're not crazy and they're not being made fun of, Because I think personally, a lot of these the government, law enforcement knows about these creatures. Might not have not all of them I've seen, but at least heard about them, especially where these sightings are prevalent.
Yeah.
So I want to be there to let people know, like, you're not crazy. So, and I think that people, like, if you're in a field when you might encounter like weird shit, pardon my French,
No, you're good.
that somebody should at least have experience with these creatures, seen one, or at least know there's a possibility that they exist, and just take this person feelings into account of what they saw. Whether or not you believe them or not, they're terrified. Something out there scared the crap out of them.
Yeah.
So if anything, just take it for face value. There's something out there that scared the crap out of somebody, and you take that seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think there's going to be, I don't think there is a better person suited for your new job. You've got the the fascination of everything, like the research part, about them already. Uh, you're going to have compassion, like if you come across somebody that had an encounter. You're not going to be that person that kind of, you'll have the compassion. Unfortunately, you'll have to follow um, the
Protocol.
regulation. Yeah, yeah. But you'll still have the compassion to help a person through it. I think it's great, and I'm glad that you got this job. You've really had a really hard couple of years. Um, the Walking Wolves put you through hell. the government put you through hell, and I'm glad that you were able to. Unfortunately, the family property is gone in Taylor, Mississippi, but you have um, a new chance at life, and a good one at that. And you're not too old to where you can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you have that opportunity, Luke. I mean, there's no one else that I think deserves it, but you 5 generations of dealing with these walking wolves. And for those of you who don't know, because I've gotten a lot of new subscribers, Luke's great grandfather, granddad, dad, Luke, and kids all have had to deal with these things. That's 5 generations, and it's and of course Taylor, Mississippi is a hot spot. So, well,
Yeah, I finally got scared. I had to leave, man. I couldn't. I wasn't capable. The first time in my life, I realized that I'm not enough to protect my family. So the best thing I could do for them to protect my family is move hundreds of miles away.
right. And
So
unfortunately, the house is gone, but you got a new opening with a new life, and I'm glad that your dad's okay. I'm glad that he's doing better. Um, I'm looking forward to talking to him. Is he still interested in coming on, or
oh, yeah, he's willing to.
cool?
Yeah, he's sleeping right now, but tomorrow I'm gonna talk to him and see when he's gonna come talk
Yeah,
to you.
yeah. Let him know.
I'll be in the background as well.
Yeah, I mean, he listens to me, so he knows that I'm not a pushy guy. I'd love to hear the old school, what he went through, and that'd be an amazing kind of. I might, if we get him to come on, I'll combine his stories with yours and do one big upload. That way, people can hear the Taylor, Mississippi saga of your family. So really intense. Luke, I know it's getting late. I appreciate you coming on. Do me a favor, don't hang up. I want to talk to you for a couple more minutes after this. But is there anything that you'd like
All
to
right, no
say
problem.
to the audience before we end this?
Yeah. Thanks again for having me on, and thank you for all your support, Dogman family. I appreciate everything you've done. The prayers has helped, and I honestly thought that I did go through all of these experiences to make me a better person, so I can actually use what I learned to help people. So at the end of the day, you don't have to believe in these creatures. My feelings will not be hurt if you don't believe in Dogman, you don't believe my story, or anything. Only thing I ask that you do is just take care of yourself. If you're out, no matter where you are, just be aware of your surroundings. And even if it's not one of these walking wolves, Bigfoot, or crawler, it could be just another human being that you might need to be wary of. So just take that into account and stay safe, guys.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And to finish it off, when you're out walking the trails or jogging the trails, have an earbud out. You don't need them both in, and have some sort of protection on you, because at least something is better than nothing. So Luke, thank you again for coming on, and I appreciate it. And stay safe, and keep me in the loop on how work goes. All right.
No problem. We'll do.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
All right, guys. Like I said, I absolutely have a blast talking with Luke. I've had a blast talking with the majority of subscribers I talk to. I don't think there's been, wow, one, maybe two subscribers or ex subscribers that I've talked to that were just, but the rest of everyone is amazing. Uh, and this was a long time ago, like back when I was just starting to do interviews, and, when people were really attacking the channel. But as of late, just the family and goodness of the channel. It's really great. Luke is great. I love talking to him. Like he said, he's going to be starting work next week, and whatever he can share with me without getting in trouble, he is going to. And he will allow me to share what he feels like he won't get in trouble to share. So I'm looking forward to having some, first hand information and someone that I know, respect, and trust that is in the parks and recreation, DNR, whatever you want to call it. He's an agent or an official, a ranger, but it's cool, and he is just as fascinated with the same stuff that we all are, and he will be diving deep. I feel he'll be going down a rabbit hole at work, which is crazy. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'm looking forward to interviewing his dad, and I really can't wait to have that conversation. That's going to be a really good conversation. So, with that, my friends, stay well, and please be safe. May the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life.